So were you.
Well, we were independent of each other.
But you had the same interest too as boys. You were both interested in sports.
Oh, yeah, we were both very much interested. We were in college together and both played basketball and football. I was a better football player and he was a better basketball player.
That was another reason why you'd be close, is because you had the same interests
Yeah.
and enjoyed doing things. But
And
you,
we were pretty much the same size as long as I can remember.
but you didn't have much to do with Lois because she was too much younger than you.
Oh, yes, she was just a plaything.
They played with her, put her on top of the car, they'd take her in the car.
Were you,
Always had her with them.
were you surprised that she was born?
Oh, yeah, everybody
Oh,
was.
yes,
You want to talk about that?
that was a funny.
Could you tell us about how that felt?
Well, we don't know how it took place.
Yes, you do.
No, we were very surprised. My mother thought there was something else wrong with her. And finally, they found out she was pregnant.
Uh-huh.
They thought it was a tumor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the doctor, I said, said, it's probably a tumor.
And how far pregnant was she when she found out she was pregnant?
Oh,
See,
I
She
Mom
was
used
fairly heavy, so she didn't show
probably
it.
3 or 4 months, you know.
She didn't have much trouble.
Okay.
We were home at the time.
Nobody knew, that's true. Nobody knew even until the day that she was born.
For the last couple
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Right,
see,
that's what I understood. She,
till the last 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months.
yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Good thing she ate well.
But she fit right into the family, and we got along real well.
You were in high school when she was born?
Yeah, I was 16 and Leonard was 14.
16, of course, I'd be in high school.
That's what I've been told.
How old would June have been?
June,
Uh-huh.
she's 3 years older.
So
2.
she would have been,
Ann says
19.
2, I think it's 3.
no, she was 19 years older. I knew that. And how old was Helen? She was
Oh, I don't remember.
23.
Helen was 2 years older than June.
June,
Yeah.
okay.
And then Hazel was 2 years older than that.
Oh,
Hazel
So they were
was-
gone.
Hazel was much.
Hazel was between Helen and June.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
she was. Oh,
So, but
So
my
Helen
mother,
must have been 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah, that's
my
It was
mother,
about 2 years between them.
my mother never knew Hazel, right?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. Do you remember any special or funny stories about your brothers or sisters? You told us one about Leonard. Dude, you put Leonard, hitched Leonard up to a wagon and
We,
made him pull him around.
It's a funny story, but we didn't always please my father. He had things he wanted us to do, and this will kind of interest you. And we never would seem to clean out the garage, in front of the garage doors, and so get the doors so we could open them up to get the car out of the garage. So my dad was pretty unhappy with everybody around the family, and when Leela and her husband were to be married in West Point, we had all planned to go to West Point to the wedding, but there was a family quarrel going on. So Leonard and I had a little old car, speedster, little old Model T. Well, we were determined to go to Leela's wedding, and we did. And it was 60 miles, and it was at Christmas time. The roads were very bad. We had little homemade side curtains on our car. And when we went to the wedding, everybody was surprised. They wanted to know where my mother and father were. Well, we couldn't explain except we were there. And I remember that we went to this wedding, and they put us to bed up in the attic someplace. It was a very small room. And we didn't, well, I was 16 and Leonard was 14, I think. Something like
by
that.
the time that Johnny was a baby.
I had to be 16 because I drove it. But Leonard was the mechanic. He looked after it. And on Sundays, we would always tear the engine apart and put it back together again.
Don't tell them about the wedding, and the wedding about the curtain.
No, now that was Ethel's wedding.
Oh, I see, all right.
During Ethel's wedding ceremony,
Ethel is Grandma's sister.
yeah, during her ceremony, they lived on Work Street. my brother and I got to fooling around and we pulled the drapes down.
In the middle of the service.
And that didn't go over very big with anybody.
Can't you just see the kids stand back there?
So it was a house wedding. It was in the home.
That was the reception.
Oh, the reception.
I think it was the wedding. I think it was in the
You
house.
told me it was the wedding.
Yeah, I think it was in the wedding.
I like it better that way.
What year would that have been?
Oh, I have no idea.
How old were you?
I don't know. I have no idea.
We got.
Were you in high school or were you in college?
Oh, no, we were, I think we were in grade school.
Grade school, well, that's good enough.
Ethel, we see, was quite a little younger than Mother was.
Yeah, 16, I don't know, 15 years.
Where did you live as a child? And what was your hometown like back then?
Well, as a child, we lived at 2566 Evans Street. And we were a very, very aggressive family from the standpoint of the neighborhood. We were involved in all kinds of things. I particularly remember shooting firecrackers way up in the air, big firecrackers. We had a baseball team. We used to knock the ball and get in the sewer, and we'd open up the manhole and go down in the sewer and get the baseball out. And we used to drive up and down the, we got so we could ride up and down the, we call it the German church steps. And we would ride up and down the steps on our bicycles, and we'd also go up and down the steps on our stilts. And we had a backyard that was a playground, if there ever was one. We managed to flood it every winter, and we'd ice skate in the backyard. And then we got, in the summertime, we'd dig up the ground real loose, and we'd jump off the garage into the loose dirt.
Grandma's backyard didn't look like much.
A real busy bunch of kids. And I remember one time my brother, my dad, and my neighbors across the street, he didn't get along too well with the neighbors. And so they backed out of their driveway, and we backed out of our driveway and hit head on or back on in the middle of the street. And both cars were coming out of the driveway, and we backed into them and damaged both of them quite a little. But Mother was always keeping the serious problems away from my dad. I remember one time we had an accident. Leonard had an accident. And my dad was out of town for a week, so we get the car repaired during that week, and he never knew it.
That explains some of my mother's.
When Grandma would come out, when Grandpa was gone and they'd come out to the farm, I remember that all you kids played around. You did all the silly things. They say, when the mouse is away, the cats will play. No, the cats away, the mice will play.
My dad was gone quite a little at a time.
Yeah, we'd have fun.
He was a trust officer of the bank, and he'd be gone a week at a time. And during that week, we would have more freedom.
That's right.
And we'd do kind of what we wanted. But I did lots of different things. I was a messenger boy in Omaha, downtown. I sold asparagus. I sold Ladies' Home Journal. I did yard work. I was just did a little of everything.
Storm windows.
What?
Storm windows.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you work for the grain exchange?
Yeah, that was when we were older.
You're in
Yeah,
college.
Leonard and I both worked for the grain exchange in Omaha, sampling grain. And then after that, I would go out and work on the farm. No, we worked on the farm first. And then when the grain got ripe, we would go in for the work for the grain exchange. That was the way we did it.
And that was during that time that you were dating Corinne and I. So we would go, you'd come over to get us, and sometimes you'd be late, and so your grandma would say, well, then you'd always change your clothes, and you'd have nice, clean white shirts.
It was very, very hard work.
Just, that was fashion.
You know how the grain doors were in a boxcar. We'd have to open the boxcar door and then crawl over those grain doors into the grain and sample the grain. And we'd have to, what we call a tryer, and we'd have to put it straight down and open up 10 compartments in the tryer. And then lay out a canvas and empty all that grain that we take out of the fryer onto the canvas and then sack it. And then jump out of the railroad car and go to the next one. I could no more jump into a railroad car now. How the devil we did it.
Maybe that's why your knees are the way they are.
Yeah. And it was very, very hot. And see, it was in August, and these grain cars would come in from Kansas State, and they would be just steaming hot. The grain would be heating, as well as the railroad car would be
And you
heating.
have to crawl into those.
We'd have to crawl in them.
Imagine that.
But we had a lot of fun doing it.
Against the law today.
And then after the cars were emptied, there would still be some grain in the car, in the corners. Wouldn't get quite emptied. So we used to sweep cars. We had that little old Dodge Roadster, and we'd get a bunch of sacks, and we'd sweep those cars out, and then we'd take them down to an elevator in Florence, and he thought the grain was pretty good until he found all that dirt in there. And then he reduced the price considerably to the point where it didn't hardly make worthwhile anymore.
The sweepings were pretty poor.
You were a very enterprising young man.
Yes, I was a worker. I really was.
By then we got married, we were selling and dealing and farmers, lot farms.
But the neighbors were sure glad when I left because I was always selling them something. I would go out to Florence, north of Florence, and cut asparagus during asparagus season. And I'd bring it in, and I'd wrap those rubber bands around it and sell them so much a bunch. And I made a good profit out of that. You see, she'd almost let me have them for nothing, the
Yeah,
asparagus. And then I'd come in, clean it off, put a rubber band around it.
just like they did in the store.
Yeah, like they did in the store. Oh, yes, and we're forgetting something else. I was a paper boy during World War I. For 2 years I was a paper boy. And it was in the toughest part of Omaha, between Cummings and Lake Street, between 24th and 27th.
It still is.
And I carried those papers, and I tell you, I remember one time I was through carrying my papers, and it was very cold and windy and stormy, and my mother was on a streetcar. And she saw me standing there on I don't know, Cummings Street, or not Cummings, but Caldwell, I think it was. And she saw me waiting to get on the streetcar, and the streetcar was so full of people, they didn't stop for me. They just kept right on going.
Oh, my gosh.
And she felt pretty bad, and her little boy was standing out there trying to get on that streetcar. And now this was during World War I. And then I carried the papers during the week, and then on Saturdays, somehow or another, I would have to go and collect for the papers. Now we pay the paper company ahead of time, or they bill us, and the paper boy never comes to our house, don't even know what we look like. Mm-hmm. But I had to go around there, and it was in the colored neighborhood, in a tough neighborhood, and every one of them had a dog. And I'd have to go and fight that dog to get to the front porch. And sometimes, instead of delivering the paper, I would roll the paper up and then bend it so I could throw it. And oftentimes it landed on the roof. Oh. And boy, you were going to catch me going in there with that dog there. Because here I was throwing a paper, and the dog thought I was throwing it at him. Uh-huh. And so he was growling and barking. Well, I was going down the hill one time, and I gave some kids a paper to put on the porch. And I was looking back to see if they put the paper on the porch. Well, I hit a parked car, and I was going down that hill, 10 or 15 miles an hour, and zowie, I went right into that parked car. Well, I wrecked my bicycle and wrecked me. Oh, what a time.
Did your bicycle work after?
Oh, no, I had to have
You
somebody,
walking
my
home?
dad had to come get it. I was hurt.
Oh.
Did your dad, what did he do when things
On
went
Sunday
wrong?
morning, if it was convenient and everything was congenial, he'd take me on my Sunday route because I had about 100 papers. Of course, in those days, the paper was only about that thick. And help was very, very scarce during World War II, you know. So anybody could carry papers. And when I quit, the neighbors were sure glad. I mean, my customers were sure glad because I had done a rather poor job of delivering papers.
What did your dad say when the bicycle was broken?
Well, he felt sorry about it. He knew what had happened. And they came and got me. And
Oh, you
but I'll
didn't?
never forget how it hurt.
Did he ever, when you didn't do something that your father didn't like, how did he express
Oh,
his
we
opinion?
never, my parents never spanked us.
Neither
They,
one of
they
them.
never, they never chastised us. They would try to reason with us and talk to us, but we were, I guess this is dumb, but Christmas was a pretty big event. Of course, we were little boys. And I remember they had hidden our Christmas presents in Hazel's room. It was up in the closet. So we were snooping around a little, and we ran onto this package that was our Christmas present. So we got into it, and we found out it was an Indian suit. And oh boy, when my folks found out that we'd found that Indian suit, they were pretty unhappy with it. So it kind of spoiled Christmas a little bit that time.
Did you each get one?
Indian suit? Oh, I don't know. Probably one was a cowboy and the other was an Indian. I don't know.
Something like that. A country covering India.
We, my brother and I had lots of good times. He claims he used to help me with the paper route, but I know he didn't.
If they two were sitting here together, they would have arguments about this.
Was he as enterprising as you were? I mean,
Oh,
did
no, he never made a dollar in his life till he got into medicine.
Oh, he was just your
Brother.
helper.
Well, he claimed he was, but I never saw him help me any.
I thought it was you the mechanic.
Well, he helped with the car. Yeah, he kept the car going. Yeah.
He fix your bicycle?
Well, I don't know. Bicycles weren't a big thing in those days. They were very, very plain. It's nothing unusual now for kids to spend $1,000 on a bicycle. I suppose ours cost $15,
Just a minute.
20 maybe. They didn't get out of kilter. There was nothing to get out. They just one speed. And, I could fix my tires, but that's about all.
Did you have a nickname?
Yeah.
This is the time to tell it.
Well, I think among some people I was called Donk.
It was ears.
I had ears that stuck straight out.
See, he was thin, see, and his ears.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, no. How did you get it? From your ears, all right. How long did this last?
Well, you asked me if I ever had a nickname. I don't know, but I do know that once in a while I was called Donk. It's like Bill used to be called
Bushwhacker.
Bushwhacker. Kids couldn't remember Elsa Bush, so they called her Bushwhacker.
And then you had nicknames for your sisters and brothers,
No,
too,
I
right?
Leonard's nickname was Toady.
Toady,
Yeah. Oh, that went right through college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jody.
Doc didn't go to college.
Oh, gosh, no, that stayed within a few people. But.
A lot of people-
Oh, it called you Lawrence.
A lot of people call me Lawrence.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Helen called you.
Well, Leela calls me Lawrence to this
Yeah,
day.
she
Oh.
does, doesn't she? That's true.
Did you go by Lawrence
Her
at
middle
one point?
name.
Well,
Tell
I think I
people
did
that.
all the way through grade school and high school because
Because your father's name
my
was
name,
John.
father's name was John.
How much schooling did you have? What was your favorite subject, and what subject did you hate?
I didn't have a single solitary favorite subject. I didn't like school. And I had 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, and 4.5 years of college. Wait a minute, 4 years of pre-law, and 3.5 years of law school.
Don't count the other, because you said it's 4.5 twice.
Okay.
But I went to one semester in the summertime. I got out in 3 years. In those days, law school was 3 years. It still is, pretty much.
Did you have a favorite teacher, and what was he or she like, and how did they influence you?
Well, we had a teacher by the name of McKibben, and he was selling life insurance on the side. And if you bought a $1,000 policy, you got a C. If you bought a $2,000 policy, you got a B. And if you bought a $3,000 or $5,000 policy, you got an A. Well, I got a C.
Oh, you say he was a cheapskate.
That was our physics teacher. That's in, of course, that's in
Where was that? In
Omaha University.
Huh.
But you know, John, you remember when that came due? It came due after we were married, and it seemed like we had something, you know, it was kind of special. We had
Yeah,
that
I
money.
still have the $1,000 policy.
That was your most interesting teacher?
No, he was worthless. I don't remember any of it.
Oh, how about the one that you said you were going to throw you out the window?
Well, that was in grade school, first grade. I wasn't concentrating, and something happened, and the teacher came to me in front of everybody. She said, "Lawrence, if you don't do a better job or whatever it was, I'll throw you out of this window." Oh boy, was I scared! And I went home crying to my mother, and she was pretty much unhappy. I don't know that she ever went to talk to that teacher or not, but it was the wrong thing to do. And I never liked school.
Until you went all that time.
And got pretty good grades.
That's right.
I got through law school in 3 years. That was pretty good. Never studied much.
You were on the football team?
Oh, yeah, I was the captain. I played football in Omaha University for 4 years, and I was captain of the basketball and basketball and football the same year. Captain of both teams.
What year was that?
Oh, I would guess 1928. But at Omaha University, we didn't study very much. We lived within 2 blocks of the university, and we just didn't have time to study. We had too many other things to do. In our German class, this is as true as I'm sitting here, every once in a while we'd sneak out the window. The old German teacher, the woman, she didn't know we even left. She'd turn her back to us to write something on the wall, and we'd go out the window, and she never knew it. Leonard and I often talk about that, to think that we could get away with that kind of thing. You wouldn't do a thing like that. No.
Who were your best friends, and what did you do together? Was it Leonard? Or did you have
Leonard
another
was
one?
my best friend. Oh, I had a lot of friends. I was
Kareem was a good friend.
president of my fraternity.
Yeah.
Called the Theta. I think it was a local fraternity. Then when I went to law school, I was in a national fraternity.
PAD.
Well, they still bill me for my annual dues, and not once in the whole time have I sent them a dime, in all these many, many years.
Now, which one was that?
Phi Alpha Delta.
Okay.
PAD. Legal fraternity.
We went down to them.
So, Green?
Crean was a good friend of mine. Of course, as I say,
He
Leonard
really
was.
a good friend of yours.
Kenneth Jensen was her brother was a very good friend. But we had a hash house. And instead of going to study, we went to the hash house, and we'd drink coffee and dance in this hash house. And it wasn't just a few of us, there were a lot of us.
Yeah.
And we just hang around the hash house during school. I mean, between classes.
Any letters that you see in that Omaha University newsletter that you get, they talk about cash out. They had, what is it, an annual anniversary thing. They had every letter.
But you see, we're so old now that there's nobody ever reports for 1931 in arts and science, Omaha University, or 1934 from Nebraska, because there's none of them living.
That's right, a lot of them are.
Most of them are gone, especially Omaha University. They don't have any reports from anybody at Omaha University.
There were only about 3 of you, I remember. Of course, John Kerry Katie's is gone. Oh, he was a great
Well, that's law
guy.
school.
Yeah, oh, that's right, that was
Oh,
law.
he's dead, John Kirkcaldy.
Yes, I know.
And I look at these reports and there's never anything about the class of 1934 because there's nothing to write about.
Yeah, no. Well, you write letters.
But they always write to me and want me to come back to their
And,
homecoming. And,
but you don't know anybody, 'cause
oh, I would think out of my class of graduating class of about 50 in law school, there are probably 5 living.
I wonder if that Taylor.
I don't know. He's never listed.
He was such an
Neither is
alcoholic.
John Reynolds.
Do you have any happiest or saddest memories of childhood?
About what?
Childhood?
No.
No, okay. What beliefs or ideals do you think your parents tried to teach you to live your life?
Oh, family companionship, family relationship. We were a close family. There was self-imposed discipline taught to us. We didn't smoke and we didn't drink.
Was church a part of,
We
a
didn't get
special
in-
part
huh?
of your family? Was church, going to church
Oh,
a
yes,
special
the church
part?
was very important. Yes, we had a church basketball team and and I was a Boy Scout and I did pretty well in Boy Scouts. I think I had about 10 merit badges. I was what is, Eagle is the top.
Eagle.
And then what's the next one down? Beavers?
Gordon, what's below, life?
I was
What's the-
Life, I think,
Okay.
Life Scout.
You had a,
Eagle's the top.
you had a family pew too.
Well, we just
Yeah.
took it. I mean, that was ours.
I know, we all,
And I went to Sunday school every Sunday.
you were an usher.
Not in that church.
Oh,
Which church? What church did you go to?
Baptist.
Yeah, is it Emmanuel Baptist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you and Leonard ushers and then you'd go out?
Leonard and I were never ushers there. They had old men that were ushers.
Did you sing in the choir?
No, not at Emmanuel.
Did you sing in a choir?
No.
Never?
Well, when Laurel was preaching, I did, but Yuling, she had to have a choir, and I was about the only one available.
And then you sang the Eugene Congregational Church.
No.
Not in the choir.
Oh, yes, you sang in the choir.
No, we didn't.
In the 13th Ferry.
No.
You sang solos.
Yep, but he never sang in the choir.
We didn't?
No.
Oh, you sang solos. He didn't like to give up. He couldn't give up that time, the choir practice. He sang solos.
Did you sing in high school?
June taught me what music I knew. June was a real good teacher. And I used to sing special occasions. And she'd work and work and work with me. And there are about 10 Christmas songs that I still know that she taught me.
You know the titles of some of them?
Oh, one of them was Jesu Bambino. That's hard to spell, isn't it?
I know. I've had the music.
And the
Yeah.
King,
I know
it
it
was
is.
We Three Kings. No, what?
Yeah, we three
Yeah,
did.
the
And,
flight.
there were, as I say, there were about 10 of them that I knew.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Holy Night.
Oh, Holy Night, and the Lord's Prayer.
Did you take piano lessons?
No,
No.
I took lessons on the clarinet, but I never practiced.
Uh-huh.
I'm not like that girl we had last night on the violin. I never practiced. My teacher would say, "Oh, you're doing fine. You must have done a lot of practicing." And I said, "Oh, yeah." Well, I kept going down there to his downtown to take lessons. It cost $1 a week to take my clarinet lessons.
Changing the subject a little bit, what led you to choose the type of work you did?
My
And
father-
what was
my-
there about it you liked most?
My father insisted I was to be a lawyer.
Simple as that.
That's that simple.
Yes, you were going to be,
I had nothing else.
you wanted to be you're going to go to Northwestern University,
Oh, yeah, hotel management, but then I never
hotel
did.
management.
Oh,
But I never did.
Okay, when did you start working as a lawyer, and what kinds of,
1934, I became a lawyer and went to Oakland, Nebraska. In the first 6 months, I made $91 gross. The next year, full year, I made $1,100. And it was just the general practice of law. Paid my secretary, the first full year, I paid her $20 a month. And with that $20, she bought some new furniture for her house.
Yes, that's right, she did.
And he shared an office with Uncle Leonard.
oh,
He came to my office,
First year.
and he had some furniture. And now your brother's got most of it, or some of it.
which brother?
Richie, the desk. He's got Leonard's desk.
Oh, death. That was Leonard's death?
Yeah.
We thought it was Grandpa Barber's death.
No, Leonard bought it, and Leonard was working as a doctor in Oakland, Nebraska, and my father insisted that he go out and take care of Leela's sister.